Hey guys, it's Heath, and we're in Amsterdam this week with Edit of the Week, and we're going to go ahead and take this image and transform it into something beautiful. But we're also going to show you how to transform these buildings that were nice and crooked into straight buildings. So let's get going. So we're here in Amsterdam, and it's a beautiful scene. I took the shot right before we left to go to Paris the next morning, and it looks really nice, but there's a few things that are really distracting in the image. The red car on the right, the blue car on the left, and the buildings are the biggest eyesore in my opinion because they look like they're falling out to the outside of the frame. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. But I want to show you that whenever you click the auto, you lose the sky. You click the level, doesn't really do anything. Vertical, you lose the sky, and the buildings look like they're falling into the center of the photo. And full, it goes wacky and it doesn't look good at all. So here's a great time where you actually have to go into the manual selection on this. Go over to your vertical, and you're going to have to slide it left or right. Here, if you go left, you see that the buildings go crazy and lean towards the outside. If you go to the other side, the buildings start to go on the inside, but too much. So we have to find that balance of what looks good. So we're just going to go back a little bit until it looks nice. And I think right about here, the image looks great. So the buildings on the left, the buildings on the right, they all look nice and they look straight up. So we're going to go back into basic. We're going to remove chromatic aberrations while we're here. See what profile correction does. Doesn't do a whole lot. You can also see that we have this white border that we're going to have to deal with. You can go ahead and click the constrain crop, and you see that it does a pretty good job of getting rid of everything. But we still have to get rid of this blue car. So the easiest way to do that is go ahead and crop it out. And crop, and we want some of the sky back and drag up. And voila! Your buildings are straight and the cars are gone. You can see that it's a huge difference already. It looks really nice. Now we have to go ahead and edit it. So let's go back up to the top of the panel. See what the eyedropper does. We can go click on it. We're looking at the preview screen over here. And we're just going around to some of the whites and see what we can find. So this gets a little bit closer to what we're looking for. You can also use a preset like tungsten. That'll give you that color. We don't want that fluorescent. That's really close. It actually gives us a nice warm look, but we're going to tame down the white warm a little bit, and we're going to actually go with that. Next thing we need to do is bring back some of the highlights, but not too much, because if we go too much, it looks kind of crazy, a little dirty, so we're going to go split the difference. Bring up the shadows, bring it up all the way, bring it back. And that's a trick I like to do, is just go all the way to the extreme and then bring it back to the point where it actually starts to look realistic. Go ahead and hit Option on your keyboard and then go to your whites, and this will help you find the white point. Same thing on the black. And since it's a nighttime scene, you can have a little bit more black in it. Clarity, we can go ahead and punch this up a little bit, not too much. And vibrance. Once we're there, we can play a little bit with the tone curve. We can do a medium contrast. See now how this darkens down everything, so I'm just going to go and hit Command Z and take it back. I want to keep a little bit of the shadows and not totally go black on them, so we're going to pump up this end of it and drag it down. Basic S curve. Here in the HSL color black and white panel, we can go crazy. Like we can take this blue and make the whole sky just absolutely blue, but we're not going to go that way. We're just going to go simple, leave it alone. We might take some of these colors on the lights and actually make them a little more saturated or desaturate them a little bit. And hue, go over here and give them a little bit warmer color cast. We're going to leave split toning alone, and we're going to go down to details. So the easiest way to do it is sharpening. Go ahead and bring it up to about 60 or 70. And then mask it away. And we're going to just hit the Option key on this one, and then you can see that the sky is black. That means it's not getting any sharpening. And the next thing we'll do is go down here and do a little bit of a vignette. So here's where we can do one of two things. We can take it into Photoshop and totally tone everything out and be really selective, or we can keep it in LightRoom, which we're going to stay in LightRoom this week. But we're going to go ahead and do some dodging and burning. So we're going to go ahead and +5 stop. We're going to emphasize it so we can actually see what we're doing here on screen. And we're just going to add some light where we want it. So obviously we have some light over here on the side of the buildings, over in the water. And we're just going to accent where the light is. So bring it brighter where we want it to be. Maybe inside the tunnels a little bit more. And then we might go over here and play in the tree, side of here, over in this tree, and then we're just going to play a little bit on the buildings. At that point, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to hit a new selection and go with the opposite. So over here, we want to emphasize where the shadows would be. So in here in this corner, there's a shadow, so darken that down. Along the water, there's a shadow. In the corners of everything, so you're just really trying to emphasize where the shadows are. So maybe over here in the trees, over here on the sides. By clicking it on and off, you can see that we've done a good job of emphasizing where the light is. We're going to go ahead and hit a new pin. So once we've done the water area, we're going to go over here and we're going to go and add some more light up on the buildings and on the road. So we can see that there's light over here getting thrown down by this light pole. Same thing over here. Same thing over here. We're just adding light where it should be. And then over here on the buildings, just like to go around the windows because the light is coming out of the windows. So we're just going to brighten them a little bit up. Just around them. And then once there, looking good. We're going to go ahead and darken down the road where they're not getting light on it. So just trying to emphasize those shadows more and more. So once we add the light here, we're going to go ahead and add selective lighting up on the building. And the easiest way to do that is this circular tool. So go ahead and hit the circular tool, add some light, and we're just going to add here and there. So a little bit there, maybe right there, maybe up on top there, maybe a little half there. On there, we're just doing a little bit of light everywhere. And then maybe down below, because the light does radiate up through the trees. Maybe up on the top right here, brighten that area up. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try and bring out some of the details in this brick. Going back to the brush, we're going to go ahead and hit a little bit of clarity, saturation, and we're going to go and maybe pump up exposure. We're just going to draw this in and see what it does. And I think it looked really good right here. And we're going to go ahead and hit a new brush and try this up on some of the buildings, right where you want to see the details. Not too high up, but just where you can see a little bit more of the light. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to reset our brush, clarity down, sharpness down, and we're going to just soften up this water. So we're just going to take a nice brush, blend all in here. Looking at the color again, I can see that it's a little bit pinkish still, so we're going to take up like one click of it. And at that point, I think it's really close to being done. See if we can go back and do anything else. I don't see anything. We might go over and just add a little bit more sharpness back into buildings, just extra sharp, like it up on the lights. It gives it extra pop over here on these lights, where you want emphasis on it. And it might be a little bit warm right here. So we're going to go ahead and reset that brush and then bring down the highlights right in this area. Not too much. So the last thing we want to do is I always try and do my contrast at the very end. So we're just going to bring up the contrast a little bit. And then here I think we can darken down the whole scene, maybe about a tenth. So it's nice, gloomy night shot of Amsterdam. And you can see the before and the after. There you go, guys. A beautiful image of Amsterdam and the canals and the nines. We went ahead and fixed the buildings and did some dodging and burning and used the lens correction tool to straighten everything out and get rid of the things we didn't want to do manually. And that was the key in this. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And don't forget that every week I give edits of the week. And occasionally I do photo adventures out inside of Tokyo or wherever I'm at. So, like I said, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.